I really never expected that right before the big teaching certificate exam. My girlfriend would endlessly beg me to hire her childhood guy friend as our driver. She actually claimed BT always takes such good care of her, and he is a huge reason we even got together in the first place. Out of pure kindness, I just went ahead and agreed to her request. But on exam day, BT stubbornly sat there demanding a price hike, forcing every single student to hand over 200 yuan in hardship fees. Tasting the profit, he actually faked my identity to curse at the students, completely ruining their exam and pushing one student to take a fatal fall. When everything came to light, I got dragged online, and my girlfriend, she was the very first person to stand up and publicly criticize me. She claimed Turnturch was always a selfish, greedy guy, so doing this for money was expected. Furious, I went to confront her, only to be fatally struck down by their hired truck. Only after passing away did I realize this was all their calculated scheme from the very start, just to inherit every single piece of my assets. But watch this flip. I open my eyes, and I am right back on the exact day my girlfriend begged me to hire her childhood friend. A Turch, please agree to help me out. BT still does not have a job, his mom is sick, and he really, desperately needs this opportunity. Hearing that familiar, whiny voice, I instantly realized I had been reborn. A massive fire of pure rage just erupted deep inside my chest. I absolutely wanted to slap them thin mount right then and there. Last time, I actually believed her pathetic lies, thinking BT genuinely took good care of her. So when BT needed help, I didn't hesitate for a single second to give him the job. Who knew that kindness would become my fatal curse? On exam day, BT showed up incredibly late, causing the students to complain non-stop. Honestly, if Thumb Than Mount hadn't stopped me, I would have fired him so much earlier. Unbelievably, he showed absolutely zero remorse, repeatedly making things incredibly difficult for the students and demanding higher prices just to drive. When they got angry, he shamelessly called himself the boss. If I had not arranged this bus for you guys, how could you even have the peace of mind to prepare for your big exam? Now that I, the boss, am personally willing to drive you all, what is the big deal with a little extra money? I'm making it clear, everyone pays me an extra 200 yuan, or I'm absolutely not driving this bus. These college kids were so innocent, they didn't dare fight back. Even after pocketing the cash, BT still drove incredibly slow, completely ruining their exam. One student who had taken the test 3 years straight went absolutely crazy with anger, posted online, and took a fatal plunge, passing away before even leaving a note. Turnturch buses were utterly unreliable and made students miss their exams. Very quickly, my personal info was dug up, and the entire internet was aggressively attacking me. Before I could even explain myself, my internet-famous girlfriend stepped right up to criticize me. Turnturch is normally just a profit-driven guy, so for him to do this, I am truly sorry, and I have already broken up with him. If parents want to sue, I will gladly provide legal support. Those few words from Thumb Than Mount basically pushed me straight into a bottomless abyss. The angry netizens kept digging up my address and private info. Overnight, I was completely cursed out by thousands of people. I just couldn't understand how the girlfriend who supposedly loved me so deeply could ever do something so incredibly ruthless. Right as I was on my way to find Thumb Than Mount, a bus suddenly crashed into me, completely crushing my body to pieces. After my life ended, I finally learned this entire drama was calculated by them early on, just to inherit my wealth. This time around, I am absolutely never letting them off the hook. Seeing me stay silent, Thumb Than Mount pouted her lips, looking quite displeased. She dropped the arm that was linking mine. A Turch, tell me the truth, did you never actually want to help BT in the first place? Before I could even say a word, she furrowed her brows. You really can't behave like this. Without BT, we wouldn't even know each other at all. When you were chasing me, it was BT who constantly gave you all those clever ideas. Now that he's in trouble, how can you just not help? If Thumb Than Mount had stayed quiet, fine, but the more she spoke, the angrier I got. You see the irony here, right? If KBT had not constantly claimed she was completely obsessed with me from day one, I never would have chased her. Over the past 2 years, I treated them Mount perfect, not lacking a single thing. I even helped build her famous internet account from scratch. Yet the moment I got into trouble, she jumped out to be the very first one to criticize me. All for that childhood friend. Even while we were still together, she was already having a shady relationship with KBT. Gritting my teeth in rage, I told her fine, I agree. Didn't those two just want to use this perfect chance to swallow up my assets? Well then, I'm absolutely going to give them a taste of their own medicine. The moment I said that, Mount happily ran off to deliver the news to KBT. Watching her leave, I smirked coldly and just sent out a text. Sure enough, KBT arrived incredibly fast. Looking like he was terrified someone else might snatch his opportunity, he arrogantly held his head up high, making it look like I was the one who had to beg him to come. I heard from Mount that you are short on bus drivers, and I just so happen to have a license to help you transport the students. But let me be perfectly clear, I can help drive the students, but the pay can't be low. I already asked around. A bus driver gets $2,000 per trip. Hearing that, I just found it absolutely hilarious. This was genuinely the first time I'd ever seen someone with such an incredibly thick skin. Mount was clearly begging me to hire him, yet somehow he twisted the whole story into me needing his help. He completely flipped the script. Besides, is he working for free to actually claim he's helping me out? And that $2,000 rate he wants is strictly meant for the long-distance drivers anyway. KBT is just dropping students at an exam center. Offering $500 is already pretty generous. But he still demanded way more, like a greedy lion. I calmly tell him I will give him $5,000. Sure enough, right after I say that, raw greed flashes in both of their eyes. Just as he is about to agree, I pull out a contract. This is our company agreement, so if there are no issues, just sign it. Mount frowns, totally confused. Aturch, why didn't I know your company had this contract? I just smile. It is a brand new benefit starting today. Over 5 trips a month gets a bonus. Everything is clearly written down, so take a good look. I am having KBT sign first, and I will notify the other employees later. Mount finally smiles, looking quite satisfied. Aturch, she says, I never expected you to treat him so well. You are really great. After saying that, she practically rushes KBT to sign the contract right away. In her mind, I have always been her lapdog, obviously making sure her childhood friend is perfectly taken care of. KBT clearly thinks the same, signing without even reading. I give a faint, cold smirk and send him the schedule along with the rules. Watch how this unfolds. On exam day, I wake up early and blend in with the students. And sure enough, despite my clear warnings, KBT arrives completely late. The bus was supposed to leave at 6:30, but by 6:50 he is still a ghost. Students are swearing, trying to complain to the person in charge. A few minutes later, those two finally stroll up slowly. I gently tap my collar button, a tiny hidden camera that is currently live streaming everything. And the account broadcasting it is obviously Mount's personal account. In my past life, right after I scolded KBT, she secretly left my bus group and used an influencer to publicly ruin my reputation. This time, using her own account to expose her true colors is not going too far at all. The candidates complain as they board. What on earth is wrong with this bus? Do you know the exam is starting soon? Yeah, the schedule said 6:30 and we have been waiting forever. Usually the bus waits for people, not the reverse. I pull my hat down low to hide, but honestly, I completely overestimated my own importance here. To Mount, I carry zero weight. She completely looks right past me and just casually steps onto the bus. After everyone settles in, 5 minutes pass and the bus still hasn't moved. Someone finally loses patience and asks, what is going on? Look at the time, A1 is here. Why aren't we leaving? Right then, KBT, who had been totally silent, finally opens his mouth. What is the big rush? I am the boss of Tinturch buses. Do you really think I would let you miss your exam? We haven't left because I need to collect a fee, 200 each, and I will take you to the exam center. You can probably guess the reaction. I glance at my phone since I poured my heart into building her account. There are still quite a few active fans online, and anyone free enough to watch a stream at this hour is definitely just chilling. Before the students even get angry, the live chat absolutely explodes. Oh my god, isn't this right outside Hoa University? The exam center is only a few dozen kilometers away. A round-trip ticket is not even 40, yet he demands 200. Isn't this just straight-up robbery? This guy even calls himself the boss of Tinturch. I thought Tinturch had a solid reputation for years, so how did it turn into this mess? Reading these comments, my eyes sting. Tinturch is my life's work, built from the ground up, and KBT is destroying it. I clench my teeth. Just wait, this time you are losing everything. On the bus, the students can't hold back. We already paid, so why are you demanding more cash? Exactly, 200 per person with 40 people here. Why don't you just go rob a bank? We haven't even blamed you for being late. We deserve refunds, yet you actually have the nerve to demand more money. You call yourself the boss, but who knows what you are? Everyone is furious, so naturally, their attitude toward KBT turns incredibly hostile. I keep my eyes glued to him and then mount, sensing something off. In my past life, I only knew they delayed the bus, never the real reason. Now, seeing KBT getting cursed out while then mount just sits there without defending him, it proves they definitely have a much bigger scheme plan. As expected, KBT laughs coldly. We'll leave, but if you don't pay up, you are going to deeply regret it later. Right after that, the bus actually starts moving. I tense up for a second, only breathing a sigh of relief when he doesn't drive recklessly. Makes perfect sense. Both of them are on this bus too, so they wouldn't risk their own lives. But right as I finally relax my guard, the bus suddenly slams to a halt. The students panic, but before anyone can even speak up, KBT beats them to it. I told you to pay because the bus is completely out of gas. I just never expected you all to be so terribly ungrateful. Perfect timing. We're almost out of gas, and you won't make the exam anyway, so just go ahead and regret it. That immediately drives the test takers absolutely furious, shouting and cursing out loud. But Kaibo Dat feels zero shame about it. In fact, he looks totally smug and proud. Yelling at me does absolutely no good. You really think the exam site will magically appear? Right then, I suddenly notice the scenery outside the window is completely deserted and empty. This is a highway rest stop, so even if we wanted to catch a cab, we couldn't. Kaibo Dat is clearly determined if he doesn't collect his money, he absolutely won't drive this bus. Than Mat intentionally pretends to side with the students, urging them just pay up quickly. Everyone, my boyfriend has a pretty stubborn temper, and if you don't hand over the cash, he definitely won't start the engine for us. You all prepared for this exam for so long. Don't let a tiny issue ruin your big plans. I silently exchange a knowing look with the test takers around me, and they reluctantly pull out cash to pay. Notifications of money hitting his account ping non-stop, making Kaibo Dat thrilled. But even after the very last person pays, the bus still doesn't move an inch. Now, the students are extremely anxious, with only half an hour left until the exam starts. If we don't leave right now, we definitely won't make it. Total panic. The crowd that was angrily cursing just a moment ago suddenly switches to desperately begging. Please just drive the bus. We already paid the money, and delaying any longer ruins everything. My mom is always hoping I pass this certificate exam as soon as possible. If she knows I never made it to the exam site, she will absolutely end me. Exactly. You wanted cash, and we gave it to you. Everyone has been preparing for this crucial test for ages. We simply have to go. Inside the livestream, netizens are furiously cursing in the chat. What on earth is this Tinturch bus company really trying to pull? It's super obvious. The test takers prepared so thoroughly. Otherwise, why would they be this frantically worried? Yet he is intentionally delaying and totally ruining people's exams. Hold on a second. Isn't that girl over there Tham Then Mat? She's normally a pretty popular internet personality. So how could she go along with something so awful? A ton of insults poured down on Tham Then Mat and Kaibo Dat. But those two are completely clueless, still acting incredibly arrogant and smug. Kaibo Dat sneers, I told you the bus was out of gas, but you didn't believe me. And I can't just magically pull fuel from the sky for you. The rest stop is right next door. How hard is getting gas? You brought this on yourselves. No matter how desperately the test takers plead, he still refuses to start the bus and drive. Time ticks away, second by agonizing second, and then a low voice softly calls out, the teacher certification exam has officially begun right now. Hearing that, the whole bus erupts in chaotic chatter, but Kaibo Dat isn't scared at all. Instead, he just coldly chuckles. So what if you're late? Consider this a good lesson so you stop being so cheap next time. It's just a simple certificate exam anyway, definitely not the college entrance test. So nobody really cares that much about it. But here's where it gets weird. Those incredibly panicked students suddenly sit back down calmly, even chatting cheerfully with each other. Kaibo Dat panics, staring wide-eyed at them. Aren't you guys in a hurry? The exam has already started. Inside the broadcast room, the audience gasps in surprise. 2. Looks like these students have just chosen to completely give up. What a pity, I already called the cops, hoping they arrive soon to arrest this maniac and the tin trash bus lady. Even Tham Then Mat can't maintain her usual gentle persona anymore, totally losing her patience and snapping. Are you all completely crazy? Haven't you been studying hard for a really long time? Yet those test takers just smile brightly. Oh, whatever. It's really just one single exam, right? What is there to rush for? Exactly. We aren't even test takers. We just took a bus for a fun picnic. That sentence leaves the whole bus dead silent. Kaibo Dat completely shatters, screaming out loudly. That's absolutely impossible. If you aren't actually exam candidates, how did this suddenly turn into a picnic? Someone laughs out loud. Didn't you know we were heading to a picnic? The Tin Trash Bus Company hosted an event and invited us along. We are acting majors going on a picnic. So how was our performance just now? Did we look like totally bullied exam candidates? The entire bus erupts in loud, mocking laughter. You know absolutely nothing. Yet you actually dare use the Tin Trash Bus Boss title to show off. So embarrassing. Kaibo Dat furiously roars, I am the boss of Tin Trash. On what grounds are you saying I'm not? Everyone get off my bus right now, I'm not waiting anymore. Pure helplessness. His furious anger looks like a man screaming into the void. Everyone just glares at him with total, unhidden disgust. I coldly open my mouth to speak. Kaibo Dat, since when did you magically turn into the boss of Tin Trash? And exactly since when did my girlfriend magically become your girlfriend? Kaibo Dat stares at me in absolute, pure disbelief. I slowly take my mask off. Now watch this reaction. Seeing my face, Tham Then Mat looks totally thunderstruck, dazedly gasping out loud. How is this possible? Why are you here? Very shortly after, something suddenly clicks in her head. She stares right at me with an absolutely unbelievable look in her eyes. Turns out you knew everything early on, purposely watching us act like absolute clowns for your entertainment. Tran Trash, you were intentionally testing me this whole time. You never actually trusted me at all, did you? I just quietly watch her going absolutely crazy, finding the whole thing completely ridiculous inside. She is clearly the one who did something wrong, yet she actually dares to claim I was testing her. Did I force her to cheat or force her to let her precious childhood friend impersonate me? I honestly feel a bit of regret right now, completely not understanding what I ever saw in her in the first place. Back then, trust her? If I had truly trusted her, I'm pretty sure my life would have been completely ruined a long time ago. Tham Then Mat actually wants to keep arguing with him, but the very next second, police sirens start blaring loudly. Truth is, right, when KBT opened his mouth to demand 200 yuan from every single student as a so-called hardship fee, the stream chat was already screaming to call the cops. Our MC had secretly reported it too. While the police pin KBT down, he glances at the live stream screen. The comments are flying by like crazy, wondering if Mount is actually having an affair. Look at her. She is clearly feeling super guilty right now. One viewer types out, "Guys, forget the affair. This is an obvious smear campaign. No need to even worry about the cheating. Her true colors are already fully exposed for everyone." Perfect. Seeing those exact words, he just shuts the stream off. This whole account was originally the exact path he carefully set up for Mount. She always loved calling herself a super positive energy blogger. Now that the cold truth is fully out, let us see if she still has the nerve to scam people. Meanwhile, KBT is loudly screaming, desperately trying to break free from the police hold. He yells at them to let him go, demanding what right they have to arrest him. He refuses the station. The students on the bus immediately start mocking him. They call him completely shameless, purposely dragging things out just so these poor candidates would miss their massive national exam. "You still dare to argue?" they ask. "You literally just demanded money, and we all have the transfer receipts." Another chimes in, "Yeah, we are all actual witnesses to this." Cold sweat drips down KBT's forehead. Suddenly, his eyes light up, and he screams that he was supposed to drive candidates. "But these kids are not even candidates," he yells. "On what grounds are you arresting me? I never delayed any exam, so let me go right now." Hearing this, Mount actually breathes a sigh of relief. But right then our MC speaks up with a pretty cold tone. "Whoever told you that you only get punished for delaying actual candidates? You literally stole my identity for profit. Who else should they be arresting right now?" From the very start, he genuinely never planned to use the exam delay charge to punish this guy, because those students are completely innocent. They prepared for this exam for so long, and they absolutely cannot lose their chance just because of some total trash like KBT. He clearly remembers exactly why people cursed him out so badly in his past life, fully knowing KBT purposely took money to frame him. That cash was actually prepared beforehand. He spent all that just to throw KBT straight into a jail cell. The truth is out. No matter how much he tries to argue, it is completely useless now. The police quickly escort the guy away. But the one thing that actually surprises our MC is that Mount does not follow him to the station. He honestly thought she and KBT had this super deep bond, and she would heroically follow her lover right into the police station. But whatever. Even if she avoids the station today, she definitely will not get a good ending later. Her account is completely ruined, and from now on, she will only get cursed at endlessly all over the internet. She just lost her precious childhood friend and her entire source of income. He really wants to see how she manages to survive this mess. But hold on, we seriously underestimated just how absolutely shameless Mount really is. That very night, she actually fires up a live stream to publicly attack our guy. Ding! A live stream notification suddenly rings out right on his phone. He taps it on pure reflex. Right on the screen is Mount staring back with a pitiful, tear-filled face. Honestly, she has always been incredibly pretty. Otherwise, he never would have fallen for her in the first place. But the thing that really grabs everyone's attention is not just that pretty face. It is the massive banner hanging right behind her. It reads "Heartless bus operation extorts students and forces the driver to take the blame." He just raises an eyebrow. Looks like he guessed her next move perfectly. The relationship between her and KBT is definitely not some loyal true love. They are just a pair of dirty, scheming accomplices. With KBT in trouble, she is clearly panicking. If she had known the whole bus incident was actually live streamed earlier today, she would absolutely never dare to throw the blame onto our MC like this. A huge crowd. There are already so many people inside the stream. Mount just keeps sobbing, practically choking on her words. She tells her beloved viewers she never wanted to waste their time, but this time, she simply has to stand up and demand real justice. She cries about the older brother she grew up alongside. He recently lost his job, and with the severely sick family member desperately needing cash. She claims she only acted out of pure kindness by introducing him to her boyfriend's company. But who knew her boyfriend was total trash? She says he just wanted some extra cash, so he forced her brother to collect those shady fees from the students. When the whole thing got exposed, he dumped all the blame right onto her brother, even tossing him into a police station. She acts completely helpless, saying she had no choice but to beg everyone for help. She begs the chat for any advice. This channel was originally supposed to be a pure positive energy blog. After all, in the past, she listened to him and interacted constantly with fans. Because of that exact loyalty, back in his past life, when she publicly exposed him, so many people praised her for choosing justice over love. She looked like a saint and pulled in a massive fanbase. Now think about how messed up this is. Than Mount basically fed off his ruin to become famous with KBT. Remembering this, his eyes flash with cold fury. Not this time. Things are going to play out completely differently now. Sure enough, the entire chat is suddenly flooded with endless laughter. Than Mount has absolutely no clue what is happening. A hint of pure shock flashes through her eyes as the comments relentlessly mock her. One comment reads, "Your man is out here working hard, while you cheat with that side piece and extort students." The whole thing was already exposed. Another furiously types, "How can you be this incredibly shameless? You literally use cheap cosmetics to scam poor college kids every single day. You completely deserve to be cancelled into absolute oblivion right now. You seriously still have the nerve to stream? Why didn't the police just arrest you too?" Seeing those comments, Than Mount turns completely pale. The stream screen suddenly goes pitch black. She cuts the broadcast right then and there, too scared to say another word to the public. But the internet never lets things go that easily. In no time, her account is absolutely flooded with the harshest insults imaginable. I watch those brutal comments rolling in, and a cold smirk creeps onto my face. In my past life, I suffered the exact same cyberbullying. So now, it's Than Mount's turn. Totally fair. But those quiet days don't last long, because she actually asks to meet me. She shows up wearing a simple white dress, zero makeup, waiting at the cafe. The moment she sees me, her face lights up with guilt and excitement. "A Turch," she says, "I'm pregnant." Pregnant? Before my life ended in the last timeline, I never heard this news. Seeing my confused expression, Than Mount quickly pulls out a medical test report. She claims she's been feeling awful lately, so she went to the hospital to check, and surprisingly, she's 2 months along. Then she asks if I remember. 2 months ago was our anniversary. Her eyes turn totally red, she blinks softly, and tears start falling down her cheeks. "A Turch, I was wrong," she begs, "please, for the sake of the baby, just give me one more chance." She promises to listen to everything I say from now on. After saying that, Than Mount grabs my hand, trying to make me touch her stomach. "A Turch, feel this." She insists this is our baby. She says she already checked, and it's a boy. You see what she's doing here, right? Her plan is painfully obvious, using a baby to change my mind and keep me as her loyal workhorse. Too bad I'm not fooled. She and KBT have been scheming together, so that kid might not even be mine. Who knows? Maybe she just wants to trick me into raising someone else's child this time. I snatch my hand back. Than Mount sees my hesitation, her eyes lighting up as she quickly pleads, "A Turch, please believe me. The baby is really yours." She swears I'm the only one she loves, claiming KBT tricked her by saying his family had trouble and needed help. She says she just got soft-hearted because they grew up together, and she couldn't bear seeing him struggle. But now she knows he's a terrible person, and she promises to completely cut contact with him forever. Than Mount sounds incredibly desperate, looking like she actually regrets everything. I just give a slight smirk. Seeing that, she immediately tries to hug me, but I dodge right out of the way. She stares at me, stunned. "A Turch, what's wrong?" She asks, "Don't you trust me?" I just laugh coldly. "Of course, I believe you," I say. "I just wonder if he believes you." Hearing that, Than Mount follows my gaze, looking right behind her, and there stands KBT, his face twisted in absolute fury. If the cops weren't holding him back, he would have totally lunged at her. When she asked to meet, I actually called the police to bring KBT out for a direct confrontation. After all, he's the exact guy who dared to impersonate me. Even inside the station, he stubbornly claimed he did everything all by himself. And since I'm the victim here, arranging a quick meeting with him was pretty easy. Then Mount turns entirely pale, her charm vanishing as she stammers, trying to explain herself to KBT. Right then, I lower my voice. Than Mount, didn't you just say that I'm the only one you love? Then you must be completely willing to testify against him for me, right? You already know he faked my identity to scam those students, which ended up severely damaging my Hentrach bus company. You are my girlfriend, right? If you just stand up and point the finger at him, the internet will believe you again and stop hating on you. You could even go right back to being a popular blogger. She was hesitating, but hearing that, she shoots her head up. You're right, Aturch, she says BT did wrong, so he definitely deserves to be punished. As your girlfriend, I absolutely have to put your reputation first. BT taking money from those students was entirely his own fault to begin with. BT, just confess quickly, she urges him. I will convince Aturch to write a plea for a lighter sentence. KBT stares at Then Mount in absolute disbelief. You really want me to take the fall? She nods without a single ounce of hesitation. Are you ready for this level of betrayal? She softly tells BT to just confess everything honestly, promising to make Aturch forgive him so he can start over later. Before she even finishes, KBT steps right up and delivers a massive, brutal slap straight across her face. Caught completely off guard, she crashes hard onto the ground. Holding her cheek, she stares at him in pure shock, never expecting him to suddenly strike her like that. BT, what are you doing? She cries out, wasn't everything I did all for your sake? His face twists in rage, his eyes burning with absolute fury as he glares down at Then Ent. For me, he spits out, how can you even say that? Before, I took the entire blame during the police interrogation, just so you wouldn't suffer even a tiny bit. I thought you would be touched, but I guess in your eyes, I'm just a complete and utter fool. He turns straight to the cops. I want to report this, he yells. Faking Turchi's identity to extort those students wasn't just me. Then Mount planned the whole thing. She's absolute trash too. Hearing this, Then Mount's face completely drops, staring at him in sheer, absolute disbelief. KBT, are you crazy? But surprisingly, he just bursts into manic laughter, laughing so hard that tears actually stream down his face. Yeah, crazy. I'm a total lunatic, he shouts. Otherwise, why would I have ever believed your toxic, manipulative lies back then? You were clearly the one who told me to impersonate Turch. I did all of this for our future, and yet now you just want to toss me aside as your little scapegoat. Don't even dream about it. He looks at me, laughing coldly. Congratulations, Turch. Let me tell you, got bored of this trash a long time ago, and you have been betrayed more times than you can count. Then Mount honestly thought this was just a minor setback, assuming that even if KBT went to prison, it would not be for long. But she had no idea that back at the police station, KBT had confessed firmly. He took all the blame, suffering completely just to protect her from everything. Betrayed, totally crushed. How could he not suffer in this exact agonizing moment? Especially seeing Then Mount pouring her heart out to me, claiming the baby she is carrying is mine. That just pushes his fury and despair right over the edge. To KBT, it is completely obvious now. Then Mount was just tricking him into quietly serving time, and she never actually planned to save him at all. Right now, pure hatred. He just wants to drag her straight down into the abyss with him forever. He immediately changes his statement, dumping every single ounce of guilt onto Then Ent. She obviously refuses to accept this, rushing forward to aggressively claw at his face. The police quickly step in to stop them, but watch this insane turn. KBT suddenly raises his leg and viciously kicks Then Mount right in the stomach. yelling that being pregnant will not keep her out. You must rot in a cell with me. Then Mount falls hard to the ground, breaking into a cold sweat. Clutching her stomach with a pale face, she begs me for help, crying out that her baby hurts so much. She pleads for me, a church, to save our child. She reaches out to grab my pants leg, but I just take a step back, completely avoiding her grasp. Total shock. She looks up, only to see me answering her with absolute calm. The hospital is over 10 kilometers away, I tell her, so even if we hurry, the baby is gone. Oh, right, I had a car crash, and doctors said I am completely infertile. I originally planned to tell you, but you just kept nagging in my ear about never wanting to have kids anyway, so I just decided to keep it quiet. Game over. Hearing that, his bitter smile instantly freezes up tight. Then Mount could have used her pregnancy to get bail, so he put all his strength into that kick just to drag her down into a cell. But now that I revealed I cannot have kids, it means he just destroyed his very own unborn child with his own two hands. Watching her lie there, KBT totally snaps, breaking free from the cops to fiercely hug her. He cries out her name, begging for forgiveness, promising to rush her to the hospital. Ultimately, the police do take then Mount for medical help, but the baby is tragically lost. Way too late. He desperately wants to change his statement again, but it is completely useless now. For impersonating me and intentionally scamming properties, he gets sentenced to 10 years behind bars, while then Mount receives the same 10 years as the mastermind. Right before going to prison, then Mount constantly cries and begs to see me. The police pass along the message, but I have absolutely zero time to care. The payoff. Teacher exam results are out, and all the candidates achieved very promising scores. These grateful folks even post public messages thanking me for exposing the plot and getting them safely to their test. Since then, HN Church Bus has become incredibly famous. Another spring finally rolls around, and I am personally driving a fresh group of students to their exams. Upbeat music plays,